On parallel session, again, two sessions. One is cutting project implementation lead time in half at Idilia Foods here in Barcelona. And the other one is Lean in Legal, applying Lean to virtual processes in a UK law firm. And here on the main stage, I already see Verka Alexieva, General Manager of LEM Bulgaria, and Anelia Mancheva from Lean Institute Bulgaria. Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for being with us. You have half an hour from now to tell us about Hoshin Kanri for operational excellence. Thank you, and I'll see you in half an hour.
Hey, Roberta. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Anelia Mancheva, and I'm part of Lean Institute Bulgaria. I'm very happy to have here with me our speaker, Verka Alexieva. Just a couple of words to present her. Verka is a graduate of the University of National and World Economics in Sofia and the University of Lincolnshire and Humberside, UK, with a major in European Business Administration. In 2013, she joined the Swiss group LEM as the first employee of the newly established site in Bulgaria, Sofia. And after more than 20 years of experience in human resource management, she has made a career move to operations and general management. And since 2020, she's leading the whole organization in Bulgaria. She's going to speak about Hoshin Kanri for operational excellence. Verka, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Anelia, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you can hear me well and you can see the slides of my presentation. So we are ready to go. Before starting with the story of LEM Bulgaria, I want to give you a brief introduction about our group, LEM, which stands for Life Energy Motion. LEM is leader in the world of electrical measurements, and we engineered the best solutions for energy and mobility, ensuring that the systems of our customers are optimized, reliable, and safe. And the company is established more than 50 years ago in Geneva by two brothers. Today, the headquarters are still located in Geneva, and LEM employs more than 1,800 employees all over the world. Our production sites, R&D centers, distribution centers, and logistics hubs are in more than 17 countries. And our company is at the forefront of mega trends like automation, e-mobility, electrification, renewable energy. Our sensors and current and voltage transducers have various applications, and you can find the LEM sensors in the electricity value chain in various sectors, starting from renewable energy sources to battery management, smart grids. You can find our sensors even in the robots and the welding machines in industry, also in the e-bikes, electric vehicles, in the charging stations. They have applications also in the traction business, so you can find them in the locomotives, in the elevators, in also equipment used in the medical sector. And the main business sectors for which we supply our products are automation, automotive, renewable energy, traction, energy distribution, and high precision. We offer one of the broadest portfolio in the industry with more than 2,000 products. And the company is organized in two main regions, Europe and Americas and Asia. The biggest production sites of the group are located in China, in Malaysia, Bulgaria, Geneva. We also have production in Japan. And for the region, Europe and Americas, Bulgaria is the biggest production site. Back in 2013, the board of directors of LEM Group takes the decision to start with a new production site in Bulgaria. And the intention originally was to have only transfer of production lines from Geneva and Japan to the new site in Bulgaria. However, during the years, seeing the opportunities in our country, the group decided also to develop other activities. Today, LEM Bulgaria has almost the complete scope of business functions, except marketing and sales, because we are production and development center. So nowadays we have more than 30 production lines and more than 450 employees work for LEM Bulgaria. And we are certified for the quality standards applicable for the industries for which we deliver products. So we have ISO 9001, 14001, also the standard for the railway, which is IRIS, and we also acquired the letter of conformance for ITF for the automotive customers. So as Anelia already said, I joined LEM as the first employee for the new site in Bulgaria. And since then, for already more than 11 years, the story of LEM Bulgaria is my personal story of transformation and growth. And with the team, we've been developing the site and following the standard processes for the group, applying the corporate strategy. And we've been doing a pretty standard model of strategy deployment. So based on the strategic direction, the vision and mission of LEM Group, we've been cascading to our site the strategic priorities, doing every year our strategic local workshops, analyzing the local environment, doing parcel analysis, analyzing the internal and external factors influencing our business. Of course, considering the interests of all stakeholders with their specific requirements. And based on the risks and opportunities within the environment, we've been elaborating our local strategic plan with its annual objectives and tactic and operational activities. And this has been quite a lengthy process with lots of slides of presentations. And regardless of that, at the end, most of the employees at the execution level had difficulties to understand how all these objectives were interconnected and depending on each other. And the change in this process and for all of us started in 2020. In March 2020, when the group officially announced my promotion as the general manager of LEM Bulgaria, we also had in our country the official announcement of emergency status of Bulgaria due to the world pandemic of COVID-19. And I could have never imagined that my first challenges as a newly appointed general manager will be to establish crisis teams, to execute contingency plans, and to ensure the health and safety of the people and the business continuity. So this year was really something that we were not prepared for. And in the autumn of 2020, with the management team of LEM Bulgaria, we had a workshop in which we had to reconsider the environment and the challenges which we are facing. Because in parallel with the risks coming from COVID, we also had an abrupt increase in the demand for our products. Most of our customers increased sharply their sales orders to ensure safety stock during the period of disruption in supply chain, and also the block deliveries for electronic components from Asia. So we had to do something and to reconsider the way we work. So with the management team in the autumn, we held our regular annual strategic workshop And we had to revise our strategy in the context of this changing environment. We knew that we had to do something different to change the way in which we work to ensure that we can quickly increase the production capacity. And this is how we decided to introduce lean philosophy, culture, and methodology in our operations. And we had to select a partner, so we addressed Lean Institute Bulgaria to support us in this journey. This is how our partnership with the team of Vasil Petrov, the Managing Director of Lean Institute Bulgaria, started. And we defined a program which was supposed to start with theoretical modules, and we had to do that online because of the restrictions of COVID. So we had a series of training sessions so that we acquire the knowledge and understand the basic concepts, the lean thinking. We were talking about the value stream maps, about SMET and TPN, the visual management, 5S, and all the basic concepts of lean. So we, of course, wanted to have practical implementation. And the moment when COVID restrictions allowed us, we started with practical workshops onto selected lines for which we had to quickly increase the production output. And the idea of the whole program was that first, the knowledge and experience of Lean Institute Bulgaria is transferred to us. We work together, we accompany each other in this journey. And finally, we have the competencies and expertise autonomously to continue our way and further implementation of the Lean. And during these training sessions, for the first time, we heard about Hoshin Kanri. And I was really impressed by the systemic and holistic approach which this model was offering and the simplicity of its application. And that's why it was not difficult for me to convince my colleagues from the management team that we should start applying Hoshin Kanri for our strategy deployment. And I suppose that most of you are familiar with this tool, but still, if people in the audience need more information, I will briefly explain the basic concept of Hoshin Kanri. Hoshin Kanri, the name comes from the Japanese words for direction, needle, control, and logic. And Hoshin Kanri is the strategic compass of the organization, which is helping the alignment with the strategic objectives of the organization. And it gives a really easy to use form in which the strategic plan is cascaded into tactical and operational plan. And you can find various templates and models of the Excel form of Hoshin Kanri. And they may have some differences, but at the end of the day, all of them share the same basic concept. Everything starts with the vision and mission of the company, which should always be at the core of the model. And then the organization has to define the breakthrough objectives that will ensure that the strategy is executed. For LEM Bulgaria, we decided that these strategic objectives for us will follow the concept of the balanced scorecard to ensure that we take into consideration the interests of all stakeholders, the investors, the customers, the employees. And afterwards, I will show with an example how we did it for our organization. So usually these strategic objectives of the organization are placed at the bottom quadrant of the model, and then they are translated into annual objectives, which are usually located in the left side of the model. Each of these annual objectives needs to be supported by very specific initiatives and projects that usually are placed at the upper quadrant of the model. And afterwards, each of them needs to have a metric, target for the improvement, metrics which will help us define whether we are progressing towards the objective. And these KPIs, they're usually in the right side of the quadrants of the metrics. What is also important for the Hoshin Kanri is that the responsibilities are clearly allocated, and in the upper right side, you always find the responsible function or role in the organization for the specific initiative or project. And with dots, the interdependencies between the different initiatives and objectives are defined, whether they have direct or indirect influence. So after this theoretical explanation, I will now share the experience we had in our organization with Hoshin Kanri. So with the guidance of Vasil Petrov, we did the translation of LEM global objectives, strategic objectives, their implication to LEM Bulgaria as a site. And we had different discussions through the different functions of the local management team so that we can properly do this translation of what it means in terms of our tactic plan and specific objectives we have to define, so that we clarified at the execution level who should do exactly what. And following this workshop, we had a roadmap showing us the gaps from the current status and the future status of the performance of our organization. And we had our own LEM Bulgaria Hoshin Kanri, our own compass. And I will just show you the example, how it looks. So this is the first version of our own Hoshin Kanri. And just to demonstrate how we did the alignment, one of the strategic objectives for LEM Bulgaria is to support the growth of LEM Group. And this was clearly stated in our strategic objectives at the bottom quadrant of the metrics. Then, in terms of the annual objectives, in support of this growth, one of the streams was the launch of new lines for products in the automotive business. And we had as annual objective the launch of these new automotive products in our operations, which were further defined into tactical plans in terms of execution of the new product launch project, and also an initiative which was related to acquiring the standard needed for our automotive customers. So we had stated that in our tactical plan that we need to acquire the IETF compliance. And then in the metrics, we defined the specific KPIs that will help us measure the progress. So we had for the project, for the launch of the new lines, the specific KPIs related to the project associated with the delivery of the project milestones on time, with the budget of the project, with the quality of the deliverables. And for the compliance to the automotive standards, so we had to prepare the organization. And for us, the milestone, the KPI to measure it was to acquire a letter of conformance from the certifying bodies. And then we had defined the responsible functions, directly responsible and supporting. So these objectives were allocated to operations and the quality. And of course, we had much more related to the other strategic objectives for our site, ensuring customer delight, ensuring the engagement of our employees. And the same exercise we did for each of the strategic objectives. And then we integrated this planning into our performance appraisal system. So we ensured that the individual objectives which each employee receives are the ones we have already defined during our strategy deployment process. So once we did the Hoshin Kanri on a site level, the same exercise was done on the level of each of our functions. And this is how each function defined the specific objectives for each individual. And this way we ensured the catch ball, the in Lean terminology, to be sure that each employee knows what exactly is expected and they understand their contribution to the objectives of the company. And we had the standard annual cycle of review of these objectives, including global annual management review of the performance of the site. But during the years, we saw that once per year, the period is long enough, and we actually don't adapt on time the plans in view of the dynamic world around us. And the pace of change is happening so quickly now that we had to adapt to the changes in the business environment. So since this year, we decided we will start to do these reviews quarterly. And it really helps us to stop and to reconsider the priorities and whether we invest our efforts on the right things. Because, and here I will quote Peter Drucker, there is nothing so useless as doing efficiently something which we should not do at all. And by these more regular reviews, we were able really to adjust the planning. And again, giving you a specific example, last year we were preparing again for drastic growth in our business. But since the beginning of 2024, we saw that most of the customers, the automotive customers for our products from the European market are suffering from the severe cost competitiveness of the Asian car manufacturers. And they started to push for cost decrease. And we had to adapt our priorities to this new reality. So the cost competitiveness became a priority for our site as well. And with the usage of Hoshin Kanri as a tool, it was quite easy just to have a brainstorming with the local team and to adapt our priorities with this new aspect. And the interdependencies were very easy to be outlined in the model and to be adapted. And afterwards, of course, it's much easier based on this model to explain again to the people what needs to be adjusted and done in their priorities. This way, we were ensuring the consensus and the understanding throughout the organization. And cautious of time, I will try to summarize our experience. So Hoshin Kanri really helped us to clearly show the direction, what is the vision and the mission of the company, and what each of us should do to support their achievement. It was helping us, the alignment, the cross-functional interdependencies were clear, and the functional objectives, which in the past were perceived as confronting, now they were seen by everybody as common efforts to achieve the strategic objectives of the site. But the model itself is not enough if we don't have the right leadership, because the leaders are key to ensure commitment from the people. And we have to create the right environment for continuous improvement to thrive, and for people to share common values and to feel engaged. Because if we don't create the right culture, and I will finish again with a favorite quote from Peter Drucker, then culture will eat strategy for breakfast. And that was the end. Thank you very much for your attention. We keep 5 minutes for questions, and I'm sharing my email if you want to, that we keep in touch and share further ideas and experience. And of course, you can find me on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Verka, for the great presentation. Actually, we do have a whole bunch of questions here.
Wow.
I see people are raising their hands. So Fatima and Dan, please type your questions in the chat or in the Q&A so we can address them to Verka. In the meanwhile, let me start with a question from Carlos Logroño. He's saying, congratulations, very clear explanations and very good example of success. And his question goes as follows: how the intermediate and section managers embrace the change?
Oh, thank you very much for this question. It indeed requires a lot of efforts, and with an aim to ensure the understanding of first the approach, we continued with the training in the lean methods was not restricted only to the management. We extended the scope of people involved in these trainings to the line managers, the engineers, and we didn't stop with the initial program. We continue to invest a lot of internal trainings and with external support when needed to continue spreading the knowledge throughout the organization. And we also invest a lot of efforts to do the workshops together with the line managers, because if we keep it capsulated only at the senior leadership team, then the rest people will not completely understand and commit to these objectives. So we really did big workshops when we started with the elaboration of the first model, involving all the line leaders. The first time it took a lot of efforts and big groups, but once people understood, now we can do the updates in a much smaller groups. But it also requires a lot of internal communication, and that's why we have regular meetings, regular sharing of the progress of the performance of the company to all employees. And this is the only way, because the more we share and they understand, the more they will feel engaged and will contribute.
That's for sure. Thank you, Verka. Now I want to follow up with a question from Dan. Dan is asking, what are your key learnings with Hoshin Kanri, and what would you advise to those who are just starting with Hoshin? Maybe where do you start?
Yes, we are still learning, because it's a never-ending process, continuous improvement. But let's share immediately. The first time we did it, we had a very long list with priorities and projects, which was very difficult to monitor. And that's why we saw that the first lesson learned was really keep it simple on a site level, no more than, let's say, 7 up to 10 priorities, because this keeps us focused. And all the rest initiatives, we cascaded at the functional level so that we can really allocate the priorities and projects monitoring and performance reviews in different formats to ensure the right focus. And of course, it requires constant revision, constant effort and brainstorming, and getting feedback from the people, from the organization, through their sessions, individual feedback on their performance reviews, getting the feedback also on the management level to adapt. And I don't know whether we have time for more questions.
Perfect timing.
Thank you very much. Yeah, feel free to
Perfect
drop me a
timing.
message.
Thank you so much, Verka. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Anelia. And thank you, Verka, for being with us and sharing this story. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank
Goodbye.
you very much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure for me to share the experience with the Lean community. Bye.